You're pregnant.
What?
That can't be true. I'm a virgin.
At that moment, I thought my life was over. But it was just the beginning.
Tell me who did this to you. Don't lie. I need to know who the father of the child is.
I don't know, Dad. There is no father.
Then you don't have a father either.
Fine. I'll marry your daughter, but I have one condition. Get rid of that baby.
9 years have passed. Time has changed me a lot. Except... Oh, God! Sorry, baby. Let me help you.
I'm not a baby.
Oh, my God. It's Justin Hunt. And that little boy turns out to be his son.
Stay away from my son.
There's a message from Dr. Athena. Are you in a rush to find me because you need urgent brain surgery?
The photo, which had been taken half a year ago, was just a snapshot from one of Athena's surgeries. The subject was wearing a surgical cap, and their body was fully covered. All one could tell was that it was a slightly chubby woman. She was looking down at her work with cat-like eyes, her gaze focused and serious. Justin thought those eyes looked a little familiar, but just as quickly as the thought occurred to him, he dismissed it. The physique of the woman next door didn't match. It wasn't her. As Justin racked his brains for an answer, next door, Mrs. Lewis was pushing Nora to go to bed. Nora, you can't do late nights with your poor health. You need more sleep than other people, not less. I can't allow you to stay up any later. Nora stretched and said in a slightly hoarse voice, "Okay." Although she had recovered from her illness 5 years ago, her constitution was weak and she had little energy. She needed a full 12 hours of sleep every night. The next morning, she was woken up by the sound of her phone ringing. She answered the call with her eyes closed. She could hear Angela's voice on the other end. "Have you thought any more about giving me the company?" "Not really." Angela softened her tone, as if trying to sound charitable. "How about this? Let's both take a step back. I'll give you $500,000 if you transfer the company to me. That would be a good trade, right?" Idealian Pharmaceuticals' annual net income was approximately $5 million. It had been handed to her father as her nominal guardian for the last few years, but the company really belonged to her. Although the money didn't mean all that much to her, she wasn't about to just give her mother's company away. Angela continued, sarcasm creeping into her voice. "Does your aunt even have $100,000 saved up after all her hard work? This is $500,000 we're talking about. You've probably never seen that much money in your life, right?" When Nora didn't respond, Angela changed her strategy. "Nora, you might not know this, but that company isn't making any money at all. It'll go bankrupt soon. If you transfer the company to me, there may still be a chance to make it profitable." In her mind, Nora laughed at her sister's lie. Angela went on, "It's a pharmaceutical company. You were never great in school. You wouldn't get it. I'm a high-achieving medical student, and I've got a ton of professional knowledge. I'm even going to apply to study as a postgraduate student under Professor Athena. Athena is the most amazing surgeon in the world, and they can perform even the most difficult operations. They're a legend." When Athena's surgical talents were discovered, they were still in medical school. The doctors at Athena's school allowed them to complete their medical degree in just a few years, because the professors ran out of things to teach them. No one had ever seen anything like it in the entire history of medicine. They're really mysterious, though. Boston University has gone to a lot of trouble to get them to come over to be a professor there. I don't even know why I'm bothering to explain this to you. It's not like you understand what I'm saying. Nora, just quit while you're ahead. Don't stick to a bad decision just to make a point. The company will only go bankrupt faster. Nora knitted her brows in annoyance. "You talk too much." Nora hung up and tossed the cell phone aside. Nora needed to find a private investigator to look for clues about her son's whereabouts. She got dressed and prepared to go out. At the door, Cherry gave her a very quick hug before going straight back to the game she was playing. Nora called after her, "Don't play games on your phone all day. I don't want you ruining your eyesight." "Ha! That's 4 kills! Got you, dummy!" Cherry's hand tapped away quickly on the phone she was holding. When she heard her mum, she nodded without even looking up. "Okay, don't worry, Mum, I'll take care of Mrs. Lewis." Nora shook her head. Cherry clearly wasn't listening to her at all. After a moment's hesitation, Nora added, "There's a very difficult person next door. Try not to go outside." Cherry's eyes immediately widened with interest. "Is he a monster, Mummy?" Justin's arrogant face appeared in her mind. Nora, who had always been reserved by nature, said slowly, "Well, this monster is very handsome and has a mole in the corner of his eye, but it seems that his brain isn't working very well." "Oh," Cherry waved. "I definitely won't go out then. I don't play with dummies." Nora laughed as she closed the door and got ready to go to the elevator, but as she turned, she immediately froze. Without her even realizing it, Justin had come to stand behind her. He was probably going out. An assistant and a bodyguard followed behind him. There were only the three of them, but his presence was no weaker than it had been during their encounter in the lobby the previous evening. Nora knew that no one could mess with Justin Hunt. She had sent him a sarcastic message as Athena last night. That had been easy to do from a distance. But now, Nora cast her cat-like eyes down slightly and said casually, "Mr. Hunt, I was just joking with my daughter. I definitely wasn't talking about you. He was trouble." It was best she stayed far away from him. In the elevator, Justin narrowed his eyes slightly. He hadn't been able to see clearly in the dim lighting the night before, but running into her today, he could see she was astonishingly pretty. Back in the Hunt suite, Pete waited until he was sure his father was gone. He was a little afraid of his father sometimes. In his head, he thought of the man as a demon lord. Once he was sure the coast was clear, he dialed the neighboring room's phone extension. Someone picked up and he heard a young voice say, "Hello?" Pete paused. "I'm staying next door. Can I come over and visit you?" The little girl sounded surprised. "Oh, are you the little dummy from next door?" Pete was shocked into silence. He was used to everyone knowing him as a genius and a prodigy. This was the first time someone had called him a dummy. However, the little girl quickly spoke again. "Can you play games with me?" A light twinkled in Pete's dark eyes, and he replied, "Yes, I can."
Hi, Nora here. If you are wondering what happens next, then download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Saving Nora Now with the link in the description.